Right, we're live. So, welcome back to one of, I don't know what episode we'd even be on now, Rene, to be honest, but
This episode 1, season 2.
episode 1, season 2 of the Stickmen Pod, yeah. First thing we have to note is that intro from Rene with the old dartboard. It's very well played. As you've seen, the production has gone up. So, yeah, anyway. On that, mate, cheers from across the pond. What are you on? The yellow whiskey?
Kind of across there. No, this is like some 18-year-old Scotch.
Ah, he's really gone for it. Nice, I respect that. Yeah, I thought unfortunately I've got
special
nothing.
Occasion.
You what?
It's a special occasion.
True that. Yeah, I'm unfortunately I just last minute picked up some Summersby's, but yeah, that's it. Yeah. Basically, yeah, it's an interesting one. So we obviously anyone who ever listens to us, which is probably not very many people, will probably have realised that we've not done an episode in like months now, and that me and Rene aren't actually sat next to each other in my office anymore. But yeah, basically, just to briefly go through it, life just for me personally changed pretty drastically over the last few months, and I no longer live in Finland, so we just sort of took a bit of a break from the pod, and I moved away, been focusing on myself a little bit, doing some other things. As you'll be able to tell clearly from the previous videos, if we let them stay, that I've lost incredible amounts of weight and look fabulous. So we just we've just been doing some other things. So, but it's actually quite nice because it means we get to see inside Rene's office, which you can obviously see has a little bit of a better backdrop than mine, with an actual fucking darts arena.
Some people might say it's a man cave.
Oh, true that. Yeah, there you go.
But it's my office also. Like, I just use a corner of it, and then I figured I need to do something with this space. I also moved apartments, got a really nice one. A bit too much space, if that's the thing. But it is the thing when you're cleaning. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice that one thing we just said when we were setting this up is it's nice that like when we did the episodes before, like Rene would come around to my place, we'd like crack a couple beers or something, and then we'd then spend like fucking 40 minutes sorting out sound levels because I've moved one of the microphones or we've switched a button or whatever, and it was just always a nightmare. But doing it like this, where the production value might not be like quite as good, like you might see a little bit of the frame rate's not so good, because just as this was quite last minute, I decided we'll just literally jump on a Discord call, and I'm using a software to just essentially screen capture mine and Rene's webcams and the desktop audio. So it's not perfect, but it will do for a few episodes while I'm out here in an undisclosed location for now. And yeah, exactly. But yeah, man. Like, anyway, how's life been generally?
Life has been pretty good. I'm back at work. A lot of work, but
you had an operation, right?
Pretty decent. Yeah, I got surgery.
Yeah,
been having issues. It's like ulnar nerve kind of thing. It was a pretty. Well, I have a really good medical insurance, and then
what a brag.
Yeah, I got a really nice doctor that he was like, "I'll cut you open. I'm pretty good," and I was like, "Yeah, go for it." Really decent, easy recovery, but I was off work for like 3 weeks. I'm still off the gym and everything. Of course, you cannot carry anything for a few more weeks, but life has been quite good. I'm looking forward. I'm going to Mexico soon. My brother is getting married, which is
that November?
A thing on it by itself. Quite busy as well. Like a lot of things every weekend. It feels like my week is packed with work, and then weekends there's always something happening. So it has been quite decent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the my life's been obviously quite a bit different. Like since I left Finland, which was I guess it was end of July. So I left Finland quite abruptly, without going into too much detail of anything. Just me and my ex, we broke up kind of the beginning of July, sort of I think around the 6th or 7th of July, quite randomly, quite quickly. Maybe I'll get into the details of it further down the line, but for now, let's not dwell on it. Let's just but it essentially meant I was in a situation where life changed very quickly, and I was just moving out of the apartment, as was she. But it was just one of these spots where I kind of had to decide what to do, because I was a bit lost. It was sort of like, well, do I rent an apartment in Finland on my own, which is what I was obviously doing before the relationship. But things change now, right? We've been together for 4 years. It's a bit weird to maybe be in the same country so soon when things are so raw, or at least the same town, you know.
I mean, some people just change apartments, mate. It's way easier.
Yeah. Excuse me. So, but basically, and also I had like my friend's wedding that I was best man at. Obviously, you know, Gav Rene, like, so it was his wedding as well, in August. So it's one of those where it's just sort of made sense to like get out of the country, fly back to England, kind of, you know, regroup, you know, or collect myself kind of thing. Went to Gav's wedding. That was really awesome. I had a really good time. Everything went well. Like the speech went well. The day was awesome. Just really good time. And then when that sort of finished, it was just sort of like, well, what now, basically? And I didn't want to obviously just stay at my parents sort of forever. And it's very easy to get comfortable. I don't know about you, but like I have a pretty good life at home. So like when I do visit my parents, you know, my mum's an amazing cook. I get on really well with my mum and dad. My goals while I was just generally, you know, this sort of life change was kind of like to focus on my mental health, to focus on like, you know, getting in better shape and my just general health, and to focus on my like career and my work. And at my mum's, that's really easy and good to do, right? Because she prepares all my meals. She cooks really healthy meals. They taste really good. It was like, so there's a risk there of just being there for like 6, 7, 8 months, right?
Yeah.
And,
you get too comfortable.
Yeah. So it's just like, which obviously is just like good for like that and good for work, but not ideal for creating a new social life or maybe finding a new partner down the line and all that kind of stuff. So I just sort of decided that basically and it was kind of weird, like I started a new kind of career almost. Like I've been playing poker for, you know, pretty much my whole, you know, after uni life, but I started with a new format. So I won't bore the listeners with the intricate details, but I used to play No Limit Hold'em, which is the most common form of poker that everyone knows, the one that's just pretty much everyone's played. But there's a new game called 5-card PLO, or Pot Limit Omaha. It's not like crazy new, but it's relatively new. And I got accepted after applying to this group that kind of takes players on to coach them and teach them and basically just like build them into these like high stakes players in those games. And that's been going really good. Like we've been doing that for a couple months now. It's been really good for me to just for my brain as well, my mind. Like I really enjoy learning things, and I like having like No Limit Hold'em had just got a bit stale to me. I played it for so many years. There's like, it's very robotic. It's very like formulaic and chess-like, you know, like it's very solved. So having this like new thing to like focus my mind on has just been really good for me. And so I was sort of doing that and I was lucky in August in England, the weather was great. So my mum's cooking all my meals, doing my washing, you know, like making me eggs and bacon for breakfast, making me chicken and rice and whatever. Like life's pretty fucking good in that regard. And I'm sat out in the garden in like 28 degrees sunshine playing poker from the laptop. So it's like it was very nice and relaxing, but it's very easy to get too comfortable. So I just sort of decided that I was going to go somewhere for a few months. And with the kind of Brexit,
how did you come to the decision? Because, well, I don't know if you're going to say where you are,
yeah,
but
no, we can. Yeah.
How did you choose? Because there's many options what you could do, right? Yeah. Especially working online, you basically just can go whatever. So why do you choose that place?
So like, it was kind of weird, man. So like, firstly,
red art at a map.
Yeah, basically. Like, so the things I wanted, right, were I wanted it to be not too far from, like, so I'll sort of talk you through that process. Like, my original plan was like, so for people that don't know where I am, I'm in Budapest in Hungary. So I think most people that I'm friends with know where I am, but some people, obviously some listeners that, you know, might not know. So I'm in Budapest and I've been here since like early September. And basically it was one of those things where I kind of planned to go to Thailand was my first sort of like option, where like that's where a lot of people go, a lot of poker players go there. It's like the weather's really good generally. It's really cheap. There's like lots of like there's lots of people. There's lots of like foreign, like lots of travelers, right? So it's like kind of a place you can go where you'll meet like people from all around the world that are just in similar situations as yourself. You know, like you know the term digital nomads and all that kind of stuff, right? Where people are just like either backpacking and, you know, refinding themselves, whatever, that kind of stuff, or they're just like they live out there because they are an IT consultant online, and they just basically can sit on the beach and sit on their laptop. So that kind of appealed to me.
That being said, as someone who works in IT, this image of someone sitting on the beach with a laptop, hard to buy for me.
Yeah.
but yeah, sounds good.
Maybe IT is. I've not. Maybe that's the wrong like field. I mean more like.
No, but there's people who
Oh,
post those pictures, and I'm like, you're trolling me. You're not doing anything.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And like, but basically, so it's like I thought about Thailand. I've been to Thailand before as well, and I enjoyed it. So it was just like, just felt like, and I got a few friends like and new friends that like poker players that live out there, and were like, yeah, man, come out, it's really nice. Other options were like similar kind of spot. I've got 2 poker playing friends that live in Brazil in different areas, but one of them in particular, who's actually the head guy of this new group that I sort of play for and stuff. Like he was just like, dude, just come out to Brazil. Like he married a Brazilian girl. She's super hot. You know, like he was just like, dude, trust me, like you'll be very liked out here. Just come out and like live the dream sort of thing. But I just sort of said that. It's just like, again, same with Thailand and Brazil. It's just like they're just so far away that for right now, all I wanted was sort of like maybe 3 months or so just to sort of get my head down, like get in the gym, work hard, and just like, you know, like I say, it sounds really lame, but like a bit of me time, if you know what I mean, and just kind of, excuse me, yeah, and I didn't want to be too far away from home because it was just one of those things where if I know to most people a 10, 15 hour flight maybe doesn't seem that bad, but I'm just like, I hate, if it's longer than 3 hours, I'm sort of not happy, you know? So it's kind of like, yeah.
A 10-hour flight is always bad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if to Mexico, it's usually whatever from here to whatever you make the layover, and then probably like between 11 and 13 hours. And I don't know, I go to Mexico maybe once every couple of years. And if the travel, like the trip was not so long, I would go more often.
Yeah.
But bro, I just cannot be bothered. I just hate traveling. Also, as a big guy, you probably know, like getting on a plane is just hell every single time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like I just took my glass off because I just getting like sidetracked by a bit of glare. But it is what it is. We'll let it. I look stupid without them, so we'll live like this for now. But yeah, man. It's like, so it's like it just sort of felt like So to get back to like what you were asking me, which is was why Budapest. It's just like I basically started Googling where to go and where should I go sort of thing. And then the reason why 3 months became a thing was because of Brexit and stuff. It became apparent that like you're only allowed as a UK citizen 90 days in what they call, I think, the Schengen area, or something. I've probably absolutely butchered that phrase, but certain area of countries, which is a lot of the EU basically, you're only allowed 90 days with that every half a year, every 6 months.
Yeah.
And then you got to spend 90 days out of the EU. So I thought, well, I might as well just use, and obviously Finland doesn't count because I have residency at Finland, but
if you have a residency in Finland, is it not that you can move around, or does it not work like that?
The honest answer is I don't know, but I played it safe that let's assume it doesn't, because I have a UK, even though I have a Finnish residency, I have a UK passport and not an EU passport. So I just thought, I'm pretty sure I'm only allowed 90 days. So I'll just go somewhere that I can go for 90 days. And I thought about like Spain, but I've been to Spain like tons of times, and Spain's like, there's like, everyone says Barcelona is nice and stuff, but it's like, I don't know, it's like, it's a lot more expensive, it's very busy. It's one of those places where I kind of wanted somewhere where the thing about what I liked about Tampere or Finland, right, or particular Tampere, right, is like you can be in a city where it's to me, Tampere doesn't really feel like a city, if that makes sense.
No, it's a small town vibe kind of thing.
But it's like,
it's quiet enough.
Exactly, yeah. You can get by everywhere in Tampere basically on foot, or take like a scooter, or maybe a tram if you need, sort of thing. But generally, you just don't need a car. And you're not like missing out on like an area, a side of the town by living over there. Like if you lived by where you live by Finlayson, it's not like you're never going to go to like Eteläpuista, right? To go, you know what I mean? You can you're still going to, it's not like that, you know what I mean? Whereas if you're in Barcelona, there's just spots where you're like, oh, if I want to go and see that place, it's like an hour.
Yeah,
and a half,
you need at least a bus kind of thing,
exactly,
right there.
Exactly. So I just didn't really want that kind of thing. And then I was looking at just lots of other places, and the main one that actually I was planning to go to before Budapest was I sort of fell on like Athens in Greece, and I just quite liked, see, like, I have an interest in just like that kind of stuff. I want to see like ancient Greece sort of things, and Athens obviously being pretty cool. Similar with Rome, like I considered Rome because I want to go and see the Colosseum, all that kind of stuff. But I also thought they're probably things that I would want to do more as like a holiday. Do you know what I mean? I could just go there for like a weekend or a week, exactly. So I thought, do I really want to live somewhere just because, cool, I can go see like ancient Roman sort of stuff, whatever. And
basically you'll go and see the main spots, right? Like 1-2 days and does that.
Yeah, exactly. So in the end, like I did a bit of research, like, and I say a bit of research, I'm talking like 20 minutes. Like it wasn't really like, I just sort of decided I was going somewhere. Where Budapest was like on one of these articles I read, it was like either top of the list or I was up there, and had a little look. Everyone said good things about it. I've already been to Budapest for like 4 or 5 days of like many years back and enjoyed that. And I just basically like looked at Airbnbs, looked at a flight and was like, yeah, why not? And just sort of booked it and came. So yeah, and I just got with the plan of like, if it's horrible, right, and if I just don't like it, well, I just fly home, right? It's not the end of the world. And either way, it just won't happen because like I'm a 35-year-old grown man. Like I'll be fine, you know, going to the gym, playing poker, and going out to eat in restaurants for 3 months, you know, in a town I don't know or a city. So it's kind of like that. So it's like so far it's been really nice. Like I've been really lucky in the sense of like the weather's been insane like since I've arrived. Like we're now October 13th or so, when we record this, and today it's been like 24-25 degrees, which is just mental, right? It's just like but yeah, so it's but it's been really good for me, to be honest with you, because like you might see like behind me there's a piano like in my apartment and stuff, and like I didn't really know I didn't know the apartment had a piano. So it was only when I arrived and I was like, oh shit, there's a piano. And you sort of know what I'm like. I was just like instantly, oh fuck, well I want to learn the piano, you know, sort of thing. And I've got that kind of brain where I just like, if I decide I want to do something, I kind of a bit OCD with it almost like. And so I just been playing like every day, and I was obviously shit. I've never played piano. I don't know anything about it, but I do play the guitar. But obviously they're pretty different. Although I would just say that the piano just seems a lot easier. Like it's a lot more intuitive, right? You're pressing buttons essentially, right? Like keys, like you are at a computer. So it's like
way more natural movement kind of thing.
Exactly, as opposed to like, you know, pressing down a string with your hand in a certain position and putting your thumb on the back of a neck. And I mean, I don't know, I like to think I'm pretty good at the guitar as well, but like I've been playing guitar since I was like 14 or something, right? So it's just but yeah, that's been really fun. Like again, it just gives my brain something to think about. I joined a gym and a swimming pool that's like 10-minute walk, and it's really nice. It's just awesome. It's got really nice pool, swims, a sauna, jacuzzi, all that stuff. Is steam room sort of thing. It's like, yeah, it's awesome. So basically,
it's also pretty decent. I don't know what your experience there. I mean, we've talked a bit about it, but well, I've lived in Germany in a couple different cities. Of course, I've come to Finland. How do you find the people? Like, because you always, of course, for example, here in Finland, most of our friends are foreign, right? It's way easier to meet and connect other foreign people because, I mean, first of all, the language is easier, and you're kind of in the same boat of I just came to a new country and stuff. So how's it there?
Yeah, it's funny because like it's quite funny. Like the first day I arrived, right, my Airbnb host, like a guy called Jerry, nice dude, like picked me up from the airport, which was really nice of him. Drove me back, chatting to me about stuff, very talkative, very like, you know, nice dude, telling me like, you know, the kind of guy when he's driving me past everything like 40 minutes or whatever from the airport, and it's like, over there's this place and over there's this, and if you want to do this way you can get the metro and this way, and I'm just thinking I'm not going to remember any of this, but really nice kind of info, right? Even to the point where he's like, oh,
you don't have that hard to tell.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, if you want this gym's a little bit more pricey, but you should definitely try it once because it has a nice view over the river and stuff, but this gym over here is pretty good. And I was just thinking like, yeah, I've like had 4 gin and tonics on the plane. I'm just like, I'm just yeah, I was just like, yeah. And but he dropped me off at the apartment and like, you know, settled me in, all that kind of stuff, and nice dude and that. And then he told me there's like it's called a Prima, which is like a K market or like a corner shop basically, literally across the street. So the fridge is empty, right? So I just go across there to just get like some waters and some beers or whatever, and just whatever, things like that and stuff. And I go in there and like this dude working behind the counter, I put my basket down and I say hello, and he just like blanks me completely, and he just takes my things and scans them, puts me the other way. I put them in my backpack, whatever, and then he doesn't say anything to me. It's just like, it's just done, and I go, okay, cool. And the little like where the price where the screen is, like the other side of the till, and where I'm packing, and you can't see it at all. Like it's turned the other way. So I get my wallet out, and I'm like, so how much, whatever. And then and he just like slaps where the fucking thing is, and I like literally like go look around. And I was like, and I'm like, and there's no like currency next to it, and there was about 3 numbers on the screen, and there was like I can't remember all the numbers, but it was just like it was relatively. I was relatively sure it was my one was the 7,300 one in the middle or whatever, but it was like, to be sure, I was like, so that's 7,000, and he was like 7,360. And I was just like, fucking hell. I was like, Jesus Christ, man! Like gave him the cash, whatever. Packed up the bag, left, walked across the street. I hadn't eaten all day. They've got like a little pizza place where you just can get like single slices of pizza. So I got like 3 or 4 slices of pizza. Same sort of thing. Go there. I go, can I get 2 margarita and 2 salami or whatever it was, right? She packs in a thing. I paid this with card this time, so I like slap my card and it just does the beep, whatever. No receipt, no anything. She just goes back onto her phone, and I say to her like, "Is that good?" And she just like looks up at her phone, and goes, just looks back to her phone. And I was just like, so at this point, I've been literally out of my apartment for like 4 minutes, and I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna be fucking fun, isn't it? Like, and I go back up to the apartment, like, like open a bottle of Coke, eat a slice of pizza, and just sit there thinking, I might have made a mistake here, kind of thing. Like it's just one of those moments,
bro. But that reminds me of that's exactly my experience. And of course, I think it's a bit similar. Where I think Mexicans overdo it, but I don't know if it's a thing in the UK. But at least I've met you and your family, and you are like very polite, very like thanks, thank you, and you're welcome for everything, kind of thing, and And that's what I'm used to. In Mexico, people are try sometimes too hard to be polite, and to be nice. And I remember I've been studying like German 3 years, and I moved to Germany. And my the first place I got there, I was living there, was Berlin. And I remember arriving to Berlin, first day, I go to a store, and I thought I said in German, like, "Oh, excuse me, I need a SIM card. Do you have one?" And then the guy there rolls his eyes, goes like, slams 2 different kind of like providers kind of thing on the thing, and switches to English. It's like, yeah, which one? I'm like, fucking hell, I think my German is good enough. Okay, fine, I'll take this. Yeah, it's this much. It's like, okay, I pay. He basically throws the change to you. I was like, fucking hell, dude. All right. Went away. Same thing. You go to some whatever. I think I went to a bakery first. And the same thing where in Mexico, you always hand things to the hand, right? Like, here you go, and the other guy will pick it.
Yeah.
And in Germany, as in they do in many places in Europe here, like they have like, but they have a tiny like plate where they just throw it there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I put my hand next to it, throws I was like, fucking hell, dude, these people. And I remember the first month was like, bro, what the hell? And then you get used to it, right? And I remember flying back to Mexico a year after. I mean, like, dude, the border agents here are super nice. And then you realize, no, these guys are not usually nice. They're just like really nice in comparison to
you're right that you get used to it, because it's like now I sort of make a bit more of a joke out of it. Like now I'm a bit more comfortable, right? I've been here like what, month or so. I kind of
you get used to the kind of like attitude.
Like now I go in, like go pick up like a bagel or something, and the girl behind the counter is like miserable as sin, right? And I just be overly polite and happy and like, thank you very much. Yeah, have a lovely day. And she just doesn't say a word back, and it's whatever, right? But you do get like some really nice people as well. Like, and like just as I sort of explained to you just before the podcast, like I just as you'll see, I just got my beard trimmed, which is why I look so sharp. But no, literally over the road again, there's a barber's or whatever, and I go in there like about 5 p.m. Budapest time, whatever, and the girl who did my beard last time, there's a girl and a guy that sort of working there together. They've only got like 2 chairs, but she basically sat. There's the guy is already doing someone's hair, and the girl is like sat just in another chair, like just sort of literally, I guess, just finished painting her nails. So I go in, I'm like, hey, is it cool to get a beard trim? And she just says, yeah. And I just don't notice the nails or whatever, I guess, probably. And I just, I did, but I didn't really think about it, if you know what I mean. And I just sat, sat in the chair. So I sit there, and she looks a bit panicked, and she just sort of goes, just shows me her nails and just goes, I'm really sorry, like we're gonna just need to wait a little. I was like, oh no stress, all good, sort of thing. I said, what, they need to dry? And she says, yeah. I said, yeah, no problem. And there's a half open bottle of the Summersby cider like on the side, and she just looks like really panicked. Like, she obviously clearly thought no one's gonna come, this guy can just handle most of it, sort of thing, or whatever and stuff. And I just said, cool, like how long do you think? Maybe like 10 minutes? And she just said, yeah, maybe sooner. And I was like, okay, no worries. And like I say, it's 24 degrees, really nice weather. And she goes out of the building to sit there. I'm thinking she's trying to get more air to him to try and dry him. She just looks really like, and I just think, fuck it. I just, the shop's right next door. Go next door, and I just say, I'm just going to grab a beer while we wait. And I go in and grab a Summersby as well. And as soon as I said to her, I was like, yeah, I saw your Summersby on the side, and it just like, it inspired me. I wanted one too, and she just smiled and she relaxed, and she went and got hers, and we like cheersed or whatever and stuff, and we just sit and drink. We just drink the drink together, finish that, and then she says, now my nails are good, and we go in and she trims my beard, and luckily didn't just cut my face off, so it was all good. But the but yeah, do you know what I mean? Like things like that. And then the guys, like, they're both really friendly. I pay and leave, and the dude's like, have a happy weekend and all that kind of stuff. And so you do get that, and yeah.
I think it's the same in every country, right? In Mexico, you'll find people that they want nothing to do with you, or like they're miserable or they're rude, but then you also find super nice people. It's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
And just the general attitude is a bit different in every country. There's like this general vibe that you get. And then, of course, there's like always nice people. There's always like whatever. But I think it's quite interesting when and I think people don't realize that if they haven't traveled themselves, when you have been around, and then you meet people from all over the world. I just find it very interesting.
Yeah.
Like when you meet, because everyone has a different story, right? And it's very interesting when you happen to kind of like get along with someone from a complete different country, complete different background than you, and having those conversations. It's like, I don't know. I find it quite nice.
Yeah, I do too. And that was funny because I had another funny story. I met a Finnish guy in the sauna in the gym. I think I might have told you this, but
dude, but tell the story.
I was absolutely fucking shocked, right? So I go to
the Mexican guy would be super excited. Jump next to you, like, let's get a beer, mate. Like, like that would have been my reaction probably.
Dude, if someone, you know what I mean, it was so crazy. So like, so basically, what happened was I go to the gym. It's like 2 p.m. whatever, and I go for a sauna after. And I go into the sauna, and there's one dude in the sauna on his own, right? And it smells really nice in there because they brought in like one of those little like glass jars of like oil, and he's obviously put it in the water and he's mixed it and stuff like that. And it just smelled really familiar. Like it wasn't salmiakki, but it was like one of the like,
or like birch or something.
Yeah,
like,
you know the one like I think we tasted a liquor on your videos that was like it.
Oh, the terva.
Yeah, that's what
the kind of smoke kind of.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. Like I can't.
Oh.
I don't, yeah, and I just. It's like it just smelled nice. It just instantly like triggered something in my brain where I was like, "This smells really familiar," or whatever. And obviously, they probably use these scents all around the world, but it just reminded me of Finland, right? So I go in and he sat on like the top level over there, and the jar's just like on the bottom level, like this the thing there, and I just sit on the top level where the jar would be if that makes looking down it. And I just sort of looked. I can't really see it from that distance, but whatever. Anyway. And I just say to him, I just said, this smells really nice. And he just goes, And I say, I said, are you from Finland? Just like, I just punted basically, right? And he looked at me like I just slapped him in the face. And he went, yes. And I said, oh, that's awesome. I used to live in Finland. I just literally lived in Finland, in Tampere for 6 years. And he went, okay. And he just got up, grabbed his jar of oil and just fucked off. And I'm just thinking like, in what fucking world are you in Hungary? Some dude comes in, says hello, says the thing smells nice, says, oh, did you get this from Finland? Are you finished? And you are. And then I go, oh, I lived there. And he just goes, yep, see ya. Like, there's just no world that would happen, But
that's the Finnish stereotype, right? Yeah. If someone would tell like a joke about Finnish people, that will be it.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's hilarious.
You get that, but imagine
if we rarely encounter people like that are like so out. But
and it was exactly that. It's like I've lived in Finland for 6 years. All these Finnish stereotypes, I've been like, they're exaggerations. You don't really see a lot of them, do you? Kind of thing. Like you see some, but this was just like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like especially like because you'd like to think a Finnish person in Budapest is a bit more like if I was in Kuopio or somewhere like and this happened, you'd understand it a bit more. But this was just like
but
funny.
Especially because like the point that is crazy for me is that there's the stereotype of Finnish people being like that, right? But there's also the joke that people are more chatty when they're in the sauna. Because I've met people that they don't speak a word, and then you jump in the sauna, and then they suddenly start telling you the story of their life and asking about a ton of questions about you, and you're like, what the hell? It's like you turn a switch when they jump in the sauna.
Yeah.
So it's weird that you're in the sauna and then he just fucks up.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is that I assumed that maybe his English wasn't the best, right? But he wasn't old. And secondly, I thought maybe he thought, and because I also thought his English must be relatively reasonable because he's in a foreign country, but maybe he just speaks Hungarian, who knows, right? But it was like, then I thought maybe he thought he's going to get in trouble because the oils, I don't think you're technically allowed to use them right in the gym and stuff. But it's like I was being pretty friendly, but yeah, it's just funny, man. It's just really funny. It just couldn't have been weirder. It's just like, because you know what I mean.
There's also just some people that are like that. I mean,
not a lot of English people you're going to meet in Hungary in a sauna that will have been to Finland for 6 years. Do you know what I mean? It's probably not. I imagine as a Finnish dude, like
no, 100%. Yeah. I'm sure if you're, especially from a country like this, right? Because if I'm Mexican, if I go somewhere and you got people like, oh, I have a friend who's Mexican, like, well, I'm not surprised, mate. We're 100 million. Like, there's Mexicans everywhere. Everywhere you go, like, you go to here in Finland, being small and all. If you go to the north, where there's barely any people, and there's Mexicans, like, I wouldn't be surprised anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But there's 5 million people from Finland,
I mean, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, that's what was wild to me.
Way less common.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's the same thing. I get it all the time, right? It's like, oh, when people ask me, I'll be in a bar here or whatever, or somewhere, and somebody will go, oh, where are you from? And I'd get it in Finland all the time. Where are you from? You're like, oh, I'm from England. They're like, oh, I've been to London. And you're like, yeah, a lot of people have been. It's like saying you've been to Paris. It's like as Europe goes, it's a pretty up there destination for people to travel to, right?
I know a friend from Guadalajara. You know him. His name is this.
Yeah.
There's probably 100,000 guys with that name.
Yeah, there's like so many places in London that they could name that I've never even heard of. Do you know what I mean? And I've lived like in the south of England for like most of my life, right? So it's that kind of thing. But you just would think as a Finnish person in a sauna, some British guy goes like, "Oh, is that thing from Finland? Yeah, are you from Finland? Yeah, I used to live there for 6 years. Okay, goodbye." it's just like kind of like mental. Like maybe you thought I was hitting on him.
Yeah. But I mean, of course, at the moment you get like, "What the fuck?" But I don't know. After you laugh about it, right? And you're like,
I laughed about it. I was like, I was almost like, it kind of happens. I was like, I can't wait to tell Rene about this. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you almost felt how annoyed. Like there was no one else to see this. This was too good. Like, but yeah, but yeah. So it's been like meeting people. But other than that, like there are like I posted in one of these. My uncle kind of was like, oh, you should go to one of these like expat kind of groups on Facebook or whatever. And I did a post in there, and surprisingly, like loads of people. Yeah, like it kind of like blew up. It was like, what the fuck? All I said is, hi, I moved from England, and a selfie, which was awkward as fuck, basically like me, like now, like this, and just tons of people. Like I can't remember how many comments, but they got like loads of comments. And next to my name now, it says in that group of like 28,000 people, it says top contributor. And it's just like, what is this shit? But yeah, so I met some nice people from that. Like, I met like, I know it sounds like a very not so humble brag, but like mostly women. Like it was loads of girls saying like, "Hey, we should go for a walk or let's go for a drink," and that kind of stuff. But maybe just.
I was commenting this with Petra because we saw it popped up. I guess because you don't post in Facebook very often, right? So it pops this like, "Hey, your friend Luke has done this." I was looking like, "What the hell, dude?" Like the amount of comments of this, like, especially with these comments of like. Oh, I'm not in Hungary right now, but if you ever come to, I don't know, Rwanda or something, I was like, what the hell, dude? Like this is just
the best one. She said this girl was like, hey, I don't live in Budapest, but if you ever come to South Africa, I'd love to show you around. It was like, wow.
If you get lost and then appear, mate, like.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and people like I had a few like DMs and stuff saying, hey, I'm actually like, I'm from Budapest, but I'm in France or whatever for till middle of October. But after that, I'd love to meet and stuff. And it's just like, so it's nice in that way. But there was obviously like I won't go into the details, but there's a lot of weird ones as well. You know, like just like weird people.
Believe.
Yeah. Like I got one person, like she message requested me, requested me as a friend, tried to video call me, and then commented back on my post and said, "Check your inbox." And I was just like, "Fucking hell!" And I didn't. I just, it was just like it was too weird for me. But yeah, so it's like you get the good and the bad. But yeah, it's like it's not particularly difficult to meet people here. There's like lots of like again, it's quite nice. A bit like what I said about Thailand is like a lot of foreigners come to Budapest for like city breaks or whatever and stuff. So the problem with meeting people in some regard is like a lot of people come here over the weekend for like Thursday to Monday kind of stuff.
Yeah, come and go kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got like things in mind that they want to do. Like they want to go see the Parliament, they want to go see the castles, they want to see the Basilica, whatever. Like so, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's just whatever.
I've noticed it's a bit of the same because Tampere, for example, is a studying city, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who come here to study, and I don't know what your experience with this, but I mean, we have a few friends that they live here and they will probably live here for quite long, right? Or they have settled here, but also, especially from that Aussie bar group, we've met a lot of people. I've also had a lot of friends who I meet here in Tampere, and then they just like, oh, I'm going to move back to my country, or I'm moving back to some other country or city to study, or I finish my studies and I'm going back home, or I got a job in whatever, Helsinki or some other place in Europe. So it feels like a lot of people come and go. It's one of those cities that maybe not as much as in Budapest, that's like very touristic, but I feel like here in Europe, it's way more common to have these people just come and go all the time. Yeah. So you make some friends, you spend some time with them, and then bam, it's like they're gone. Some other people come. It feels like this meeting people is like never ending. You just like meet some new people, they have to leave, and it's probably harder to make like long-term friendships or like this kind of more like deeper relationships, but you're meeting people constantly.
Yeah, exactly. Like good example. And I'm not like, like I say, I came here like sound. I don't think it matters that it sounds selfish, but I came here for myself, right? I came here to just like focus on myself. Basically, 3 months of getting in shape, getting good at my job, learning the piano is basically the three main thing, right? So just like clearing my head basically, and like. But you want to, meet people sometimes, right? Like I could happily spend 3 months, in this apartment, like in a really good area of town. I live in like what's a place called District 5, and it's like really good area. It's right by the river, next to the Basilica, which is like the biggest church or whatever in the country. It's like a tourist sort of spot. So it's a really cool place, connections to everything. But I'd happily, like I was sort of saying to a friend the other day that like I'm the kind of person where I could go off to some like absolutely remote cabin mountain like in the woods, as long as I had internet and could do my job. And there was like, weights in a pool. I'd probably be fine with that as well, because I don't really.
Yeah, mate, but that's how you get to this point, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. So but basically but essentially, but it's nice to meet people. So I've met some, I met an English girl from the Facebook group as well. She was cool. Like she was just out here for 3 weeks. She basically had an injury and was off work, basically quit work and was sort of reflecting on life, things like that and stuff. And she ended up, one of her friends who she met with Thailand, who works online as well, she came out to visit. So I hung up with them two for quite a while, and they were nice people and stuff. But yeah, it's like you say, kind of people that sort of will come in your life and then go out your life, and it's absolutely fine. So it's like, but yeah, it's a bit like even with Finland, like if you think about the British guys group that we had, which was obviously me, Liam, Ash, and Alex, was that the core.
They're all gone, man.
Yeah, man. Like it was so strange. It was like
also it was like because everyone looked like they're gonna settle here, and then suddenly bam. Like
that's the crazy thing, and it's funny because Alex broke up with Alex and his girlfriend broke up first, but they were living together. I shit you not, for like 11 months after. They were just broke out because they became friends basically and stuff. But he was pretty much like, yeah, I think I'm going to stay. Yeah, he's like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to stay in Finland though, and all this kind of stuff. And then it felt like when me and like Melia broke up, it's like, and I was like, guys, I'm leaving the country basically. And then And then it's like,
I wish it was like that.
yeah,
I once got a message. We're supposed to record on Friday,
oh god, yeah,
and I think
oh
Friday
yeah,
at noon I get a message like, "Sorry, I'm out." Like, what the fuck? And a picture of like you with a yellow in the airport. That's like,
yeah, I
well, I
remember.
already bought my drinks, mate. Like, you could have told me earlier.
Yeah, fuck, yeah, my bad. It was one of those. It happened quick, man. It is what it was. It's
And
very
I get
weird.
it. I mean,
It was
but
so
that's how it
weird.
went.
But that's it, man. And the worst bit, I say the worst bit about it, obviously not the worst bit about it, but like one of the annoying things was just like the fallout of like the messages I would just get with like from random people from like, are you in England now? And it's just like, yeah. And it's like, I've been how long are you there for? You're like, don't know. It's just sort of like, it's like, oh.
We've talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it in the podcast, but I think we did about the when you go back home. Because, for example, I'm about to go back to Mexico, and my mom was asking, "What's your plan? What's your plan?" It's like, my plan is, because I don't see you at all, I'm gonna spend 2 weeks there. We go to my brother's wedding, and basically all the free time you have, I'll spend it with you. If you have have to go to work or whatever, then I might record a couple videos just like cooking there in Mexico and stuff. Because she has a lovely kitchen. But I have no plans. I might see my friends like, one day that I invite a couple that were like really close. But you always get these messages of like, "Oh, you're back. We should like you text me." Or like, "Oh, you didn't let me know you were here." It's like, mate, I see my mom once every 2 years. Like, that's all the time we get. Like, I'm sorry, but you have to prioritize.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just it's one of those things where I kind of just sort of I lost my train of thought, but I was saying when I come out, what I like about being out here for now is that I basically just don't need to think very much about what I'm doing. I don't think about my future, in terms of like where I want to be or in that regard. I'm just like, I've got very easy short-term goals, since I've joined that group, like the poker group, it's been like insanely good for me. Like the mentors and like the support in that group is like insane. Like I have like you have like a mindset coach, you have like a mentor, like you have one-on-ones with, you have like a technical coach, you have like other colleagues almost that you work with on a day-to-day basis in study groups, you have like performance coaches. It's just like, it couldn't be like, more professional, which is for someone like me, is I needed it. Like I've never had that like kind of structure in my like career. It's just been get out of bed, go to the computer, click some buttons, that kind of stuff. Now it's much more 10 a.m. we have a meeting on this, 1 p.m. this day we have this, this day I've got a meeting with my technical coach, this day I've got a meeting with my head coach kind of thing, that kind of stuff, like mindset. They just help you so much with like just becoming basically like a better person. Like it sounds like such stupid things, but
you mentioned you have like these one-on-ones that basically, even if it's about poker, you get a bit like life coaching as well, right?
Sometimes it feels like free therapy. You basically just like one of the guys my main guy that I have one-on-ones with, like it would just ask me like before we have the one-on-one, like, hey, prepare some notes if you want. This is your hour. Basically, we can do what you want. Like we can talk about poker, we can talk about heartbreak, we can talk about where to live in life, we can talk about exercise, we can talk about trying to like not be on the phone as much, or trying to get better sleep patterns, like anything. So you can talk about it whatever you want, sort of thing. So it's just really useful. And like the main guy who runs it, like I say, I knew him. I lived with him. Well, it's kind of interesting how like my career goes almost like full circle, in the sense of I started playing poker 2011 after uni, and I moved out to Australia with these poker players that kind of staked me and took me on, sort of coached me. And the main guy from this came out to visit us and lived with us for like about a month. Me and him got on really well. And basically, he runs this huge group of like 40 players from like all around the world in this 5-card pot limit Omaha games and stuff. And because he knows me and we're essentially friends, like he said to me, "Hey man, do you want to have a call? I understand you," and he understands my situation, which other people don't. So maybe I'll go into this like in another episode. But I had some traumas in my life with work-wise sort of thing that happened that potentially pretty much essentially resulted in the end of the relationship and things like that as well. But basically, he has a lot of experience in that in his life, and he just scheduled a call with me. We had like a 3-hour call, and like it was honestly, I've had therapy, and the therapy sucked, man. Compared to this is just like it's nuts when I think about it like that, in terms of
The thing is made like, and I'm gonna weigh in here, and why I think therapy works didn't work as much with you is that because I think you and me have very similar functioning brains, right? That's probably why we get along.
Yeah.
And I think we're both
not idiots.
I like to think that sometimes, but sometimes I doubt it.
Idiots who think we're not, and that works that way as well. So
yeah. I like to believe I'm not, but I think we're very pragmatical. You know, you do 1 + 1 is 2, and that's that. Like, and whatever, like all the variations, or it's like, yeah, but I'm not sure, and I think this might no, mate. It's like it is what it is, and that's that. So I think talking with this guy, if he's into poker and this, he must be the same.
Yeah,
so you get into the same kind of mindset of like no bullshit and just like straightforward. I think that's something that not a lot of people do.
Yep. Yeah. And he was really smart. Where like we had this huge conversation, and he basically said to me, it was quite funny. It was like, Luke, I've gone through heartbreak and bankruptcy like more times than I probably ever should have, basically, and for his own fault and whatever and stuff. He said, so basically I've become a bit of an expert on it. So I'm happy to talk to you about both those things, like, you know. And he had so much insight about like financial traumas, like from poker or investment or whatever and stuff, and things about, you know, women doing bad things to him or heartbreak, and like, cause he's had some really bad sort of spots and stuff in that regard. And he just said, yeah, like, and he's one of those things where he's like, he was sort of like, it's almost like he could just instantly, like, he was just typing away we're on Discord on a call, he's just typing away like, get this book, get this, read this, watch this article. Like he had so many things that, and I watched him. I was like, they were really good. And following that, like, he's like, I'm going to put you in touch with this guy, one of the players in the group. I think he'd be good for you to talk to. And his guy's name is Christopher. He's from Sweden. He's about 43. So he's about 43, 44, maybe like 10 years or so older than me. But like, really like crazily similar like life story, basically. That should say like maybe I'll save this sort of thing for like a future episode of what sort of happened in my life, you know, just generally over the last year or so. But like, really good to chat to somebody who basically everything they say, the way they were feeling and the things they were doing, I was like, fuck yeah, it was, yeah, the like depression and stuff, and just like on the exact same page. And he has a wife, and he's like, you know, and he just said, yeah, just like neglecting your partner because of the troubles you've sort of got in your day-to-day life and stuff. And then, you know, he was lucky enough to sort of turn things around with his partner, and, you know, save things, whatever and stuff. But like, he just said, yeah, there's definitely a world where like he wouldn't have been able to and stuff. So it's kind of it's really nice to be in this like support network where there's just so many, like, it sounds, I hate, you know, the term like-minded individuals just seems really cliche, but it just really is the case. Do you know what I mean? It's like all these dudes are just like, they're all smart, they're all in the same boat, they all like, but it's also really nice where like poker generally as like an industry is like, you make money taking other people's money, right? So it's very like out for yourself, me against you. But this is like a team of people that are just like working together to just like help each other.
For other people.
Yeah, basically. It's just sort of like, and it's not like seeding, like, because there are groups out there. There are lots of teams of poker players out there that like they work together to like, as in literally they cheat, they play together, right? But this isn't like that at all. This is just like a case of they play against each other where they have to, but it's like, okay, here's
more like support kind of.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, well, you know, you lost this hand versus me, but this is what you did wrong, and you know, and it's just really good. And they've got some of the best mindset coaches as well that come along and give presentations and stuff.
Which, if I remember correctly, you've talked about this, that's how poker used to be at the beginning.
Yeah,
like you have mentioned that it's like it kind of evolved into this every man for themselves. But
yeah, like as it got more difficult and more solved and everyone became better, it used to be like the poker pros were like colleagues. You were all like on Skype chatting to each other and, what do you think about this hand? And be like, yeah, I would have done this and whatever and stuff. But as poker, the bar just got higher and higher. Like it became, oh, I'm not going to tell you what I do here because there's no value to it, right? That kind of thing. Or I'll tell you, but only for coaching for $200 an hour, or, you know, that kind of stuff. So, but this is like, this is really good. And yeah, it's just and it got me into like they're so professional. Like they're just like, they make you, as I say, like a bit of a better person, because it's little things that don't seem like a lot, right? But I've done, I think it's like day 47 now of meditating like every day, which I'm not into meditating at all. I'm not a very spiritual person. I'm like probably the least spiritual person you'll ever meet. And like, but my sort of take on it is everybody who's smarter than me insists on it. So it's like it has to be useful. So I'm just basically I'm stuck with it. Been doing it. If I'm being brutally honest, I still don't enjoy it or see a massive benefit. But I'm aware that as long as I'm structuring it into my routine, I think it is having a positive effect on me. Like even if anything, just like setting aside a 5 to 10 minute window every day of just me not thinking, turning my brain off, trying to like be on my own has been really good. I've done like 50 plus days now of like cold showers, which I have seen a benefit of with my mental health and things. Like I feel incredible. Like since doing just such a stupid thing of taking a cold shower like every day, just like, yeah, it's been awesome. So
there's this kind of like, there's a lot of value. And I think, especially as men, I think a lot of people, or not a lot of people talk about this, but like the working on yourself.
Yeah.
It's very, I don't know how to say it, but like it seems like people don't do it enough, or people don't talk about it as much as they should. Because I think I have a very similar kind of like feeling about it, that I turned my life around a few times, and I've learned that a lot from, like, I take what I can from certain people, and all these kind of things you've been telling, like maybe it's not therapy itself, but like these small things of adding structure to your life.
Yeah.
And then you pick up the meditation. And I used to do that when I was training ninjutsu. And I remember for me, it did very, very good at that time. And this reading a lot of books about this kind of like, it feels like sometimes people are, or it's kind of like made fun of, or being kind of like, oh, that's not like what a man does. But
it's like a weakness almost to have to do it kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly, mate. But, and I mean, it might be a weakness, but then you do something about it and you fix it, right? If you don't like something about yourself, or if something is causing you trouble, then you fix it. And I think that's how it should be. If you're not learning and growing, especially, for example, when you have a breakup, if you don't fix yourself, or like fix the things you don't like about you or that cause you trouble, the next relationship you have, it's gonna be the same story.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's why like the worst thing you can do when you come out of a meaningful relationship, right, is to go into seeing somebody else in that regard, because it's just like
a lot of people do that right away, right? Serial monogamist kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like one of those things where like you're basically just setting yourself up for failure again and again and again, because like you're not working on the things that you're not working on you don't know what you want. You're not working on the things that you need to do to be a better person for yourself. And if you're not a better person for yourself, you're not going to be a better person for the other person. And it's like, just to quickly go back onto what you said on like the about it being like almost like made fun of as a man to like work on yourself, or to admit like that you're not mentally feeling your best, or that you're down, or you're sad, or whatever, right? It's like, I can't remember who said it. It was either someone like Jordan Peterson, or someone was just saying like the difference between like being vulnerable and being weak. And it's like it was a really good example. It's like a Navy SEAL, or like an SAS, or whatever, like a special forces like soldier. Like, they're obviously not fucking weak, but they're incredibly vulnerable. Like, they put themselves in spots where they can lose their lives every single fucking situation, right? They're insanely vulnerable, but they're not weak, and that's the difference, right? Being vulnerable just means you're in a situation of like danger, or like, of like, or threat, or whatever, whether that be mental health, or obviously physical threat, or depression, or whatever it might be, or heartbreak. Because you're vulnerable when you go into a relationship, right? Because you're in a situation where you can have your heart broken or whatever and stuff, but that doesn't make you weak, right? It's just there's the completely different. And yes, I think that's like an important like differentiation that men, for some reason, we just don't. A lot of us, I don't know if it's like societal like conditioning or whatever. We just all.
It is kind of how you grow up, right? In Mexico, it's a thing like boys don't cry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's how you grow up, and then it's like, no, you're tough, and you're tough, and you're tough, and like, if you are not tough at some point, then it hits you harder, right? Because it's like, mate, but I'm supposed to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of, you get conditioned to that kind of behavior and that kind of mental thought. And if I buy a self like, what's that, self growth book
Self-help
or something, like that, yeah, then I'm being weak, which, I mean, shouldn't be like that.
I was massively guilty of that myself, in a sense of like, I remember when I first opened up to people about my situation. Like I say, we will talk about it more, because this podcast is due to end soon. But like when I first opened up to people about how my situation had changed, and about like the breakup and all these sort of things and stuff, like it was almost like annoying to myself that that I hadn't done it before, because it was like everyone, like yourself, all my other male friends and stuff, were just like, dude, that's absolutely understandable. Like this, of course you'd feel that way. Mate, I can only imagine, like, just kind of like everybody basically completely understood, and none of them were like, oh, why are you being a bitch? Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Like, it was none of that, but it was like something that I don't know.
I mean, sometimes, but he was a kid. We were joking.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, yeah, it's super important to speak to people. That's one thing that I've learned. But
here's the thing, like, because I've been doing a lot of like self-improvement kind of thing and those kind of like through the years, but I think it's important to find, because you said like most of your friends, like, they didn't bat an eye, right?
yeah, exactly.
But I think that's the kind of people you surround yourself with.
Yep.
And that's what you should strive for. And like, if you're friends with someone, that should be what you strive for.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
and a lot of people get surprised when we talk about this. Like, people might get surprised of like, oh shit, well, I'm having a bad time as well.
Yep.
But it's like, if you're both kind of in this like, oh, I shouldn't say anything kind of thing, and maybe you're both fucked, right?
Yeah.
You're both going through a lot, and then you're both just like, nah, let's have beers and watch football and fuck that.
Nah, exactly. And I think that's what one of the main takeaways, like, because I think we should wrap it soon, but like that you're spot on, like surrounding yourself with people that, like, one, don't treat you that way, in terms of one do allow you to talk about your feelings or what you're going through and understand, right? But and also and two, like, don't just tell you what you like want to hear, like tell you what you need to hear. And that's like a huge thing. Like I so many people have people around them that just like enable them or encourage them to have bad behavior, right? Or just do dumb shit, basically. And that's what I'm very grateful for my friends, that they've, like, through this, tough year and more so, and now the tough recent times, they've just, yourself and like mainly Rene, but obviously other friends as well. Just everyone's just been so good about it, and so, like,
the difference is I have some tact, because then there's people like Gap. That's wait, shoot him already,
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, so I think this is a good one to welcome ourselves back into the game with, and I think this seems pretty easy to run it like this. Like, we'll just do it on Discord. Maybe if there are any listeners, give us some feedback about if the sound quality in the video is okay, because I think
it has to be better.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. So yeah, man. Appreciate you for joining. As the normal, we never do this shit because we're not doing it so long. But like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll do this again next week, and we'll hope for the best.
Next week we'll have a topic.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. Thanks everyone, and cheers, Rene. See you guys next week.
See ya.